Hello everyone, welcome to Best Recipes with Sharon. This is a delicious recipe for bourbon chicken. And maybe you can relate to this because if you go to the food court at a mall, this might be your go-to dish. Now my thought for this dish is that it should be pleasantly balanced. So the flavors in this dish should be a little bit smoky and have a pleasant caramel sweetness with a little bit of toasty nutty flavor. So without further ado, let me show you how I make this. So we'll start off with some cooked chicken. You can go ahead and cook that however you like. This is a roasted chicken, so you can either pick that up at the grocery store if you're wanting a real quick meal. There's a thought right there. Or you can grill it on the barbecue or pan fry it. I used the meat off of one small chicken, and it's mixed between white meat and dark meat. And the chicken's chopped or cut up into bite-sized pieces. Before we get started with the sauce, we're going to make sure that you have your bed of rice ready. I use basmati rice, and you cook up as much of that as you need to according to the package directions, and it's always good to have that ready ahead of time. Next, we'll get right to making the special sauce right after these quick ads. The recipe for this sauce is what makes this dish so well liked. Okay, so we'll start with 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. And then half a cup of brown sugar. 1/4 cup of chicken broth. And let's say 1/4 cup of apple juice as well. So next is also 1/4 cup, but this time it's low sodium soy sauce. And then 1/4 cup of ketchup. This is what helps to give it a bit of color. And next we'll add 1 tablespoon of minced ginger. A lot of different ingredients put together can really make a special dish. So next we're going to add some garlic. And so we'll add 2 tablespoons of minced garlic. While all the ingredients really work together to make up the flavor of this next ingredient will enhance all of them. Now I don't drink alcohol, but I do like cooking with it. And this does bring out the flavors quite nicely. And you only need about 2 ounces of this. And if you're like me and you only like to cook with it, you really only need a small bottle, and it will keep at room temperature for quite some time. You can keep it alongside the vanilla in your cupboard. You only need a little bit of it to enhance the flavor in recipes. And in this chicken dish, it actually got named after it, bourbon chicken. Now that I've got this mixed together, I'm going to go ahead and boil it down in a cast iron pan. And this will help to evaporate some of the alcohol content and leave behind all the nice flavors. Turn the heat on high, and while we're waiting for this to come to a boil, we'll go ahead and make a bit of a slurry. In order to make this up, I use about 1 tablespoon of cornstarch and 1/4 cup of cold water. Mix this together and set it aside until you're ready to use it. But first we need to reduce our sauce a little bit by boiling it for about 15 to 20 minutes. Okay, so towards the end of the boiling, I like to thicken it up a little bit more with the cornstarch mixture. Just add a little bit at a time and stir it until it thickens to the desired consistency. You may or may not need all of the cornstarch mixture, or you may need to mix up a little bit more, depends on how thick you want your sauce. You want the sauce though, in my opinion, to be a tad bit on the runnier side than on the thicker side. It just needs to be able to coat your spoon nicely, and that's about the right consistency so that it will stick to the chicken. Now we're ready to add the chicken pieces, and that'll be about 3 cups. And it'll be easier to coat the chicken nicely if we add a little bit at a time and stir in between. So this is starting to look like the real deal, right? So once you've added the chicken, you can let it simmer just for a couple of minutes and let it sit for a bit so that the flavor soaks into the chicken, and then you're ready to dish it up. Then go ahead and decorate the top by finishing it off with a few toasted sesame seeds and give it a light sprinkle of basil. So as you can see, this is a pretty quick and easy meal and absolutely delicious. You never would have thought it'd be so easy to make. When you go for it at the food court, you think it's something special. Who would have thought it would be this easy to make? So now I'll take the time to thank you for watching my videos and supporting the channel. Thanks for watching the ads that are attached to the channel, for your likes and your comments, and also for subscribing. And to answer the questions about how to give a tip or a special thanks, there is a spot to do that, and that's located just below the video on the bar where the comments and the likes and dislikes are, and it's probably over to the right side of it. And I hope you enjoyed today's video, everyone. Thanks so much, and until next time, happy eating.